Okay, guys, this is your review for your test that you're fixing to take. Hopefully, I can get it less than 15 minutes so we can get it on YouTube. Please make sure that you put your phones in the caddy. Just nice standard testing procedure after the test. I'm good with you having them as long as Ms. Sturgeon is okay with you having them. Let's go through this as quickly as we can. I'm going to do like one out of each section, most likely the hardest. So just know that there will be some easier than the ones I go through. All right, here you have to do end behavior. In behavior, please note that you're looking at the first term. You do not need the other terms. If your power is odd, your ends are going opposite directions. So either one's up and one's down. The question is which one's which. When you look up front, it's going to tell you that's a negative, so it has a negative slope. So the left end is going up while the right end is going down. And you can use the words top, bottom, you can use negative infinity, positive infinity, up, down, or you can just draw the arrows. Just get your point across. Okay, maximum number of terms is always your degree minus 1, so we have a 4 here. Maximum intercepts, that is your degree. Same thing over here. If you've got the first term, if it's an even power, both ends are doing the same thing. So it's either both going up or both going down. Question is which. Look up front. It's positive, so that means he's smiling. Positive people smile, so this one's up and this one's up. Max turns is 6 minus 1 is 5. Intercepts, 6. All right, here we go. I'm going to have several here. The hardest thing on number 1 is obviously the difference quotient. So let's remember how it's set up. You're going to have h in the bottom. Then you need to block it off. You got the first section minus the second section. All right, the second section is always your original function, 4x minus 1. Okay, now I'm getting this from up here now. Now, you're going to take that 4x minus 1 and use it on the left. You just use parentheses instead of the x. Inside the parentheses, you're going to put x plus h. My fingers have got the squeakies. Okay, once you get that set up, you're just going to do the algebra. So that's going to be 4x plus 4h minus 1 minus 4x plus 1. And remember our little check system? The things from the back end should cancel. So the positive 1 and the negative 1 cancel. The negative 4x and the positive 4x cancels. That leaves 4h over h. H is reduced. We've got a 4. Okay? On number 2, make sure that you're getting the negative response. Every time you have an x, use parentheses. So I need my little square outside. Don't put it inside, put it outside. Oops, I put an x. I don't need an x. Okay, so now I fixed it. Everywhere I have an x, I have parentheses. Come back, and this problem says put in negative 2. So come back in there, put negative 2 in. So negative 2 times negative 2 is positive 4. Guys, if you don't use parentheses, your number will have the wrong sign. So please be careful. 2 negatives make a positive, and then we've got a 14 there. C is similar. You're going to start it out the exact same way. Group squared minus 5 times the group. Just so happens that this time we're putting in x plus 3. Okay? When you have a binomial raised to the second power, y'all have told me that y'all prefer to write this thing twice. And then over here, you can just distribute like normal. But when you write it twice, let's see here, writing it twice, you're going to have x times x is x squared, and that's going to be 3x. There's another 3x. 3 times 3 is 9. And then we have our 2 terms from up here. I just ran out of room. So once you get your like terms together, we have a 3, a 3, and a negative 5. They are all x's. Put them together, we have a 1. If you put the 1, it's no big deal. And the 9 and the negative 15 is negative 6. Okay? Moving along, you do have to worry with one piecewise function, but remember it's all based on which one are you using. So like on this one right here, where does negative 2 fall? Is it less than 0? Is it greater than 0? Well, of course it's less than 0. That means use the top one. So wherever there's an x, put parentheses. Come back back in, put your number that's in question. And then just work it out. -6 minus 2 is -8. You guys should be good with that. All right. Graph each. Okay. When you're going to graph them, think about your basic shape. You guys should know what x cubed looks like, right? So you're going to have your little swish, and we're going to be moving him around. So I know the term vertex is wrong here, but just think about the middle of that squiggle. It's at -4, -2. Remember, we changed the one in here. We keep that one the same. So come over to -4, go down 2. You're anchoring him right there. Look up front. Is there a slope? No, there's not, which means it's just 1/1. So you go up 1/1. Do it the other way to accommodate your shape. And then put your little curve in here. I'm not looking for your arc, guys. I'm looking for where the center is, and I'm going to be looking for your little slope there, okay? So let's do one more. This one right here, x squared, you know he's like this. Its vertex is at 3, 1. So we go over 3, we go up 1, we anchor him. But look, we do have a slope. It's down 2 over 1. So go down 2 over 1, do it both sides to accommodate your shape. And, you know, try to make him look like a curve. I know it's kind of hard when they're skinny, but, you know, try to show me that he's a curve and not a V. Okay? Now, same basic thing. You're just starting with a function. Well, let's do this last one here. You've got y equals, and you can put f of x if you'd like to. You've got the square root of x, and I would, if I were you, I would just start like this. Leave a space here for slope, leave a space here for side to side, and leave a space at the back end for your vertical. Then you can come back in and fill it. 5 units to the left. Remember, go backwards on this, so that is add 5. Vertical stretch of a factor of 4. That's your slope, guys. 4 goes out here. Reflected over the x, that's negative. You don't have a vertical movement, so there's nothing on the back end. All right. These, let's see here. You're just going to have some graphs. Like if I gave you a graph that looked like this. Okay, we'll do this. Hopefully that makes sense. You got absolute value. Now you need to think, where is that vertex? That vertex is over 2 and up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's at 2, 5. That means I've got to have x minus 2 with a plus 5. Now let's investigate the slope. All right, right there. It went down 2 over 1, so -2. Okay, next thing, you're going to have to do function operations. So add, subtract, multiply, and divide. These should be very straightforward. The trickiest one is subtraction, so we'll go over that. We have 5x minus 1 is f. Minus, and remember, here's the kicker for subtraction. You must remember to wrap up the back term. So the g function gets wrapped. If you don't, your signs will be off and part of your answer will be off. Not all of it, but part of it. So get your like terms together. You got a 5x or 3x. That's going to give me 8 minus 1. Okay. Let's look at some composite. Some of you didn't like the way this was written. You can change it if you just really don't like it. Let's see here. This just means you take the f function and put it inside the g function. So start by writing your g function. Just wherever there's an x, swap it for parentheses. Okay? You see how that correlates? Now go back and put the f function inside. So 5x minus 1, 5x minus 1. Okay? Here we go again, binomial squared. So write them twice. And then 5x minus 1. And then over here, we can go ahead and distribute. Here we go. 5 times 5, that's 25, and with an x squared. That would be a negative 5x. We're going to pick up another negative 5x, and negative times negative is positive. So negative 15x, and I ran out of room again. Okay. So we got 25x squared, a negative 5, a negative 5, a negative 15 is a negative 25x. We have a 1 hiding in here, and a 3 back here for a plus 4. Okay, we're almost done. Got to look at the inverses. When you do inverses, you have to know to do the composite function. So hint, hint, hint. When you're looking at your test, I'm not going to tell you to do f of g of x and to do g of f of x. However, the problem right above it is asking you to do both f of g of x and g of f of x. So if you'll just kind of keep in the same mindset on your test, you should be fine. But you have to do both to get full credit. So start with the f function and then come back and fill them in. That goes in there. So put your little fraction. You need to show me how it reduces. So show me that the 3's cancel, and then you're going to come in here, show me that the 2's cancel, you get x. Same thing on this side. We're going to start with the fraction, and this one does feel weird, but it should work out just as nicely. Put your 3x plus 2 in there. You don't need the parentheses, so you can go ahead and reduce those. And I'm assuming y'all all know we don't need it because there's nothing in front. There's nothing to distribute. Okay, so that gives me 3x over 3. 3's cancel and we get x. Once you have both of these things equal x, you're done. You did what it asked you to do. That is proof you verified. Okay, very last thing is you start with one function and you find the inverse. This is the, I think for B1 I gave you 3 steps, and for the other class I gave you 4. The 4 steps is kind of easy. Just the first one is don't write f of x, write y. Okay, so that would be step 1. Step 2, swap them. And then step 3 is rearrange it and get y by itself. So anything that's added or subtracted must be moved first. Then take off anything that's multiplied or divided. So you get this funky fraction, just roll with it. And the only way to get rid of this power is to do the cube root. Now remember, when you're doing your root, to write your index. I get to go in fast and I forget my index, so I understand. We just have to remind ourselves. When you end it, use the proper notation. Make sure that you note it as the inverse. If you don't, I'm going to at least take half a point, possibly a whole point. This is your last and final step, is to note your inverse. Okay, last thing is just your matching quiz. If you did a great job on your matching quiz, you've got this. We've got ln of x. This one's x. This one would be the greatest integer function, or the little x shoved in all the brackets. E to the x. And I'll try to fix this on the test. It showed it on my computer, but it didn't print very well. It's supposed to be a flat line, which you should remember as c. Just a number. We got 1 over x. It goes through 0. So that should be sine of x. This one stops at 0, so that's your square root. Alright, we've got x squared. This one goes through 1, so this would be cosine x. X cubed, absolute value of x. Alright guys, good luck. Hope you do a good job.